The story of the M2 Browning 50 caliber machine gun, affectionately known as Ma Deuce, is not just a tale of a weapon. It is a story of fear, respect, and sheer engineering genius. Designed by John Browning in the early 20th century, the M2 was a machine gun unlike any other. It was more than a firearm. It was an instrument of war that could strike fear into the hearts of enemy soldiers from the moment it appeared on the battlefield. Its deadly power, mechanical reliability, and versatility made it one of the most feared weapons of World War II, particularly by German troops, who quickly learned that encountering Ma Deuce often meant facing an unstoppable force. Unlike lighter rifles or even high-speed machine guns, the M2 combined the terrifying energy of a massive 50 BMG cartridge with precision engineering that allowed it to function flawlessly under the harshest conditions. Every shot fired carried devastating kinetic force, capable of punching through armor, vehicles, and fortifications alike. The Germans, who had honed their tactics around precision and rate of fire, often found themselves helpless against this American monster. Its presence alone on the battlefield disrupted enemy plans and shattered morale before a single bullet even hit its mark. At the heart of the M2's superiority was the 50 BMG round, a massive 12.799mm cartridge designed to deliver enormous kinetic energy over long distances. With a muzzle energy exceeding 13,000 joules, a single round could perforate steel, crush engines, and shred masonry with terrifying efficiency. Compared to the standard 7.92mm Mauser rounds used by German MG-34 and MG-42 machine guns, the 50 BMG was a force multiplier, slow to fire but capable of causing catastrophic damage with every shot. Its impact was not just physical but psychological. German soldiers learned to recognize the distinct deep thunder of Ma Deuce long before they saw it, and that sound alone was enough to freeze even the most experienced troops in their tracks. In contrast, American soldiers viewed it as a reliable partner in battle, a weapon whose power and precision gave them confidence in even the most dire situations. This combination of destructive power and unwavering reliability made the M2 a defining weapon of the Allied forces, capable of altering the course of engagements and instilling fear and respect in equal measure. The engineering brilliance of the M2 was deceptively simple. Operating on a short recoil system, the gun was designed for durability and minimal maintenance, allowing it to fire thousands of rounds without jamming, even in mud, sand, or snow. Its massive bolt absorbed recoil, while the heavy barrel allowed sustained bursts of fire without overheating, a critical advantage when engaging multiple targets or defending key positions. Unlike the finely tuned but temperamental MG-34, which required constant cleaning and precise maintenance, the M2 thrived in the chaos of war. German soldiers quickly realized that even when their best tactics were employed, the M2 could withstand the elements, outrange them, and obliterate obstacles designed to provide protection. Mounted on tripods, tanks, half-tracks, jeeps, or aircraft, the M2's versatility allowed it to serve as an anti-personnel, anti-vehicle, and anti-aircraft weapon, turning every engagement into a potential nightmare for the enemy. Its adaptability, combined with the sheer energy of its rounds, made it an unparalleled tool of dominance on every front of World War II. The M2 earned its fearsome reputation during combat in North Africa, where American forces faced the elite Afrika Korps in harsh desert conditions. German troops, accustomed to engaging lightly armed vehicles and infantry, were shocked when their bullets failed to penetrate American armor, only to be met by the devastating impact of 50 caliber rounds. The gun's range allowed U.S. soldiers to engage the enemy at distances well beyond that of the MG-34 or MG-42, while its destructive power destroyed trucks, engines, and fortified positions with terrifying efficiency. Similar stories emerged in Sicily and Italy, where American forces relied on Ma Deuce to breach bunkers, demolish walls, and suppress entrenched positions. Soldiers recounted that a single M2 could eliminate entire squads within seconds, creating not just physical devastation, but an aura of inevitability. Its thundering roar became a symbol of impending destruction, signaling to German troops that there was no cover, no safe corner, and no escape. Even in Normandy, during the infamous D-Day landings, the M2 proved critical. On beaches like Omaha, mounted on tanks, half-tracks, and landing craft, it shredded bunkers and defensive emplacements, enabling infantry to advance under heavy enemy fire. German MG-42 nests, feared for their speed, were often neutralized by the slower, heavier rounds of the M2, which delivered unparalleled stopping power. The Battle of the Bulge further solidified the M2's reputation for reliability and lethality. In the freezing Ardennes winter, where many weapons jammed or malfunctioned, the M2 continued to fire relentlessly. Paratroopers of the 101st Airborne used the gun to hold key positions, repelling larger enemy forces and earning their survival through the consistent and overwhelming firepower of Ma Deuce. German soldiers, trapped by the gun's range and destructive ability, often surrendered rather than attempt direct engagement. The psychological impact of the M2 was as lethal as its bullets. Reports from captured soldiers repeatedly described it as the voice of doom, a weapon whose mere presence instilled fear and disrupted enemy tactics long before combat began. The M2's role in the air war amplified its psychological power. Mounted on fighters and bombers, it was instrumental in both offensive and defensive operations. Bombers like the B-17 Flying Fortress were protected by a web of M2s, creating a wall of fire that German Luftwaffe pilots called a flying porcupine. The 50 caliber rounds could disable engines, ignite fuel, and pierce fuselages, forcing enemy pilots to adopt evasive tactics or risk destruction. Ma Deuce extended its terror into the skies, making the German air forces hesitant and cautious, further cementing its status as a weapon of both physical and psychological domination. After the war, the legacy of the M2 continued across decades of global conflicts. In Korea, the gun proved indispensable in mountainous terrain, providing suppressive fire and vehicle protection under harsh winter conditions. In Vietnam, it adapted to jungle warfare, mounted on helicopters, boats, and convoy vehicles, where its long-range firepower and reliability became a decisive advantage. Even in modern conflicts in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Middle East, the M2 remains a cornerstone of American and Allied military operations. Its incremental upgrades, improved sights, lighter mounts, quick-change barrels, and specialized ammunition have kept it relevant, yet its core design has remained unchanged for nearly a century. The engineering brilliance of John Browning ensures that Ma Deuce continues to outperform many modern weapons in both durability and firepower. The psychological and cultural impact of the M2 cannot be overstated. Known as Ma Deuce for its reliability and protective presence, the gun has become a symbol of American ingenuity and military strength. It is respected by allies and feared by enemies, with global adoption across NATO forces and militaries worldwide. Its longevity, versatility, and unmatched reliability have made it not only a weapon of war, but also a legend. The stories of soldiers holding their ground under impossible odds, the tales of enemies surrendering under its shadow, and the continued reverence for the gun decades later all testify to its enduring legacy. In the end, the M2 Browning 50 caliber machine gun is more than a piece of hardware. It is a living legend. It taught German soldiers fear, American soldiers confidence, and the world respect for the marriage of engineering, power, and psychological impact. From the deserts of Africa to the beaches of Normandy, from the jungles of Vietnam to the mountains of Afghanistan, Ma Deuce has proven that some weapons transcend time. They are not just tools of war, but icons, capable of shaping history, inspiring courage, and instilling fear across generations. It is no wonder that nearly a century after its creation, the American M2 continues to stand as one of the most feared and respected weapons in the world. A true testament to the enduring genius of its design and the power it brought to the battlefield.